here in Sarasota, Florida for Orioles spring training and joined by manager Brandon Hyde. Brandon, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, of course, everybody wants to ask about how you're managing your second big league camp, but I want to get back to your playing days. You said before we started recording here that it was going to be a 2-minute conversation. I'm going to try to stretch that out. Yeah. Let's go back to your days at Long Beach State as a dirtbag. Dirtbag being used because that's what you guys call yourselves,
It's a good
right?
term.
Yeah.
It's a good term. You know, the dirtbag name started with the coach that I played for. I think it was 1989. It was kind of the program wasn't what it became, and that it was kind of starting over. They didn't really have a field, so they would practice on a dirt field, and they gave themselves the name the Dirtbags, and they went to Omaha that year to the College World Series, and then just started this really good tradition of really producing a lot of professional players, a lot of big league players. It's a term that everybody that played there holds close to their heart, and proud to be one.
You played 200 minor league games, but you struggled with a little bit of injuries throughout your minor league career.
Yeah, when I signed, I was hurt. When I played in my senior year at Long Beach, I played with a hurt elbow, and I just always tried to mask it and just try to grind through it as best I could. It was a short-lived minor league career just because my elbow never recovered, and I would do the best I can to protect it, but it just didn't last real long.
As a catcher, how much did that inhibit you throwing out base runners as well?
Well, I was in the training room quite a bit and just never got it fixed, and it was just a stress fracture, this bad stress fracture that just never would heal. And being a free agent sign and a guy that was just trying to make a team and hang in there as long as I could, I just never really said anything. I look back, I would do so many things differently. That's kind of a story I tell people sometimes, is that, you know, make sure that you speak up if you're hurt, and make sure that you're communicating, and I just didn't do a very good job of that when I was a player, and I just wanted to play as long as I could and as high as I could, and I wish I would have said, you know, spoken up.
As a manager, of course, you deal with injured players all the time. Yeah. In particular, I think of a guy maybe like Alex Cobb, who's dealt with a lot of injuries over his career, and that can really have a toll on a player after a long period of time. Does it help to kind of have that experience and when you talk to
them? Yeah, it's really frustrating. You want to play,
yeah.
And when you're not able to, yeah, it's really hard, and you just have a lot of tough days, and that you can't do what you love to do, and you can't achieve the goals you're trying to achieve. And so I have appreciation and respect for guys that are hurt, that are coming back from injuries, and hope for the best for them.
So as a player, who would you say is the best player while you were in the White Sox organization that you played with?
Played some pretty good players. We won a couple championships. I caught Mark Burley a lot. Burley was a kind of a later round JC pick. 19 years old, came to us in the Midwest League. He was like a big leaguer from the time he stepped on the field. He was just so good, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody with that kind of command.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was the best player you played against?
Played against a lot of really good major league players. The one that sticks out for me was when Sabathia was drafted in the first round. He was like an 18-year-old kid throwing 99. I was a little bit older, and I remember I had him 3-0 and was going to try to get early to a fastball, and I hit it whip back here down the right field line for a double. So that just shows you how late I was. But yeah, Sabathia is probably one of the best pitchers I've seen. Did
you know at that point, obviously he's 18 years old, but did you have an idea that he had that potential in him?
There was no doubt.
Yeah.
If he just stayed healthy, he was going to be really good for a long time.
Well, we should get you at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony to tell that story. That'd be a great story.
I'm pretty sure he doesing remember.
When was the last time that you were able to take BP?
This is like a sad interview. The last time I was coaching Midwest League, 2005 or 6. Decided to take some batting practice on the field with my hitting coach. I think we both hurt ourselves. So both of us hurt ourselves. I had an oblique that I couldn't sneeze for 3 weeks.
Ooh.
Hurt so bad. But yeah, so that was the last time I said, you know what, my days are over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with golf.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can swing a golf club.
Fine, swing a golf club, fine, yeah.
That's good. Do you have a favorite manager from your playing days?
Yeah, I played for some really good ones. I go back to my college coach, Dave Snow, who was excellent, and a Team USA coach for a lot of years, and so I learned a lot from him. But then in Pro Bowl, I played for Nick Capra for 3 years, is now the third base coach of the White Sox. Being around him a lot, and we stayed in touch throughout the years, and then being with the Cubs and him with the White Sox, so I see him all the time. So he was just a really good, hard-nosed manager that I really enjoyed playing for.
Did you pick up some stuff then that you have taken with you now as a manager?
Yeah, I think if your eyes are open and you listen, I think you're always taking stuff from people that you care about and respect, and see how they do things, and I'm always watching guys I respect.
You mentioned earlier that you would do a lot differently as a player. I think particularly analytics have obviously grown immensely since your days as a player. Knowing what you know now about sabermetrics, what kind of things would you try to incorporate in your game that you weren't able to do back then?
You know, I definitely would have understood more about the walk slug, the OPS. And I think back then it was just average RBIs, homers.
Yeah.
And not understanding the importance of a walk, not understand how how it helps you not your numbers wise, but team wise, all that kind of stuff. So I would have definitely tried to tighten up my strike zone management as a hitter, an approach where I'm getting a good pitch to drive. Instead of, I think I just got my at-bats over way too early in the count because I was trying too hard instead of really letting the at-bat come and taking what's given.
And of course, back then, those were stats that probably even front offices didn't value
Right.
as much as they do.
Yeah, I mean, it was average homers or RBIs back then, runs scored.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for reminiscing on your days. I'm sorry we had to bring up some painful memories there as well. But,
Yeah, not a whole lot to talk about.
We won't see you out there taking BP.
No.
We'll see you throwing some
Yeah,
BP.
I'll throw.
Okay.
Yeah, my elbow feels way better than it does when I play. But yeah, no BP.
Well, thanks so much for joining us here on MASN All Access.
All right, thanks for having me.
Brandon Hyde joining us here from Sarasota, Florida.